on that one.
Oh, are we rolling here?
Yeah, artists are the antenna.
Well, that's not my. I didn't come up with that.
That's
quote.
okay, but
I wish I should know who the source of that quote is, but this is in sort of continuation of what we were talking about last night. Artists as the antenna of the race means that artists are forward-thinking humans. We're looking at what mankind has done, and from an artistic, meaning an aesthetic point of view, which means how our culture, how do we accommodate one another in a pack, in a group, in a clan, in a tribe. How do we share and how do we help facilitate a better life for one another in a group? So artists are looking at how and sort of assessing how we've done so far and how can we do in the future. So this idea of the antenna is this whole forward-thinking mentality that artists have. And like I said, I'm not the author. I'm quoting someone from long ago. I first heard that quote when I was in high school. It was in a music appreciation class, actually, in high school, where I heard quoting someone who said that. So that's what Rich Starving Artist is all about. Is this characteristic, this general sort of generic characteristic of artists in general, and how we are, and we're not the caretakers, because that's the whole thing about the poor. The starving artist, the one who doesn't have much in the way of material, but he has a rich life of creative inspiration, which is essentially life force and life energy, which is like, the yogi's kundalini, all of that force, all of that life force.
Mozart was poor. He died poor. But we all know him today. He's well known. Because Mozart had to sacrifice a lot.
Sly Stone will probably die poor.
Yeah, there you go.
But we love Sly Stone.
Yeah, so the point is...
Plenty of such people, athletes as well. I'm sure they would.
Well, I think Indian music's a good example. Because Indian music...
Yeah, man. Get your mug on here.
Yeah, Indian music's a good example because, it's well known that Hindus and Muslims, haven't gotten along historically. But in the Indian music world, Hindus and Muslims play together all the time, and they get along fine. So the point is, music, maybe not permanently, because we all know musicians can also be assholes in their own way sometimes. It's possible. I have seen musicians with egoity. However, with all their craziness, with all their craziness, musicians are at least tempted to at least jump into the light.
But on that subject of musicians succumbing to that kind of behavior, now this is not peculiar to musicians. This is the problem of egoity. That when we get into Rich Starving Artists, we're talking about a very vast, comprehensive view of mankind. That's my vision of this whole thing. That we have to look at ourselves. It's really incumbent on us. Do we really think that this is like the best we can do? The problem seems to be that, the people who recognize that we can do a whole lot better, that's not the problem. It's people who are so busy on the take, which is why my favorite books are not necessarily my favorite books, but I think key must-reading for all humans are Daniel Quinn, Ishmael, and The Story of B. And it's essentially an anthropological examination. Looking at mankind historically and explaining a good historical explanation of how we got to be where we're at in terms of this sort of cutthroat, competitive, fear-based living. Anyway, don't want to wander off too far.
No, well, music at least takes you out of that. At least, the music is not... It takes you out of that survival... just that basic survival thing, and you get back to the ecstatic state. And when you're in that, you say, this is what I'm really here for. Yes, I need to survive. But we all need to be ecstatic. Because in that ecstaticness, the differences are washed. We don't know,
Exactly. We don't care about differences when we're happy.
Yeah, and when you're playing with a good musician, it doesn't matter what they look like. You're just...
It matters what they smell like, that's all. Hey. Who better than me to make that comment? Yeah. I do have a reputation to uphold.
Well, cool. We got a little bit of a... Hope you enjoyed this latest blog here.
We got one there. Put some humor in there.